All right, same thing here. We've got a coefficient of our y squared term, so we're going to take that 4 and multiply it to the back. And then we have y squared plus 7y. This is a negative, so that stays a negative. Minus 4 times 2 is 8. Now we have to figure out our numbers that multiply to get negative 8 and add to get 7. When I'm multiplying to get a negative number, that means I'm going to have one negative and one positive. Since I'm adding to get a positive number, we want that biggest number to be positive. So those numbers are going to be 8 and negative 1, because 8 times negative 1 is negative 8, and 8 minus 1 is 7. So I can set up my parentheses. First terms, here it's y, sometimes it's x. Second terms are what you find here. So this is a positive 8, so I've got a plus 8, and a negative 1, so minus 1. Next step is to take this 4 and divide these numbers back here. Thankfully, this divides evenly, so I have y plus 2. Here, I can't simplify that anymore, so I swing the 4 up in front of the y for 4y minus 1. Final. You can keep going. I can go ahead and do 3. For 3, I've got negative 2x squared minus 15x minus 7. Now, the book is going to tell you to factor out this negative first before you start factoring this. But what I'm going to do is just take the negative with the 2 and multiply it back here to the 7, to the negative 7. So that'll leave me x squared minus 15x plus 14, because I have a negative 2 times a negative 7. So we do our chart again, multiplying to get the last number, which is positive 14, and adding to get this middle number, which is negative 15. When I multiply to get a positive, I'm either multiplying 2 positives or 2 negatives together. Here, since I'm adding to get a negative, I'm going to be multiplying 2 negatives together. So I'm going to multiply negative 1 and negative 14. That will multiply to give me positive 14 and add to give me negative 15. So I set up my parentheses. First terms are x, negative 1, minus 1, negative 14, minus 14. Now I take this negative 2 and I bring it back and divide it. So divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. Now this part gets tricky because you got to think, I want this to multiply back to get me to this original. So when I multiply these first terms, I'm going to need a negative 2 there, which means one of these negatives is going to stay. I'm going to make the first one stay. So since 1 over 2 can't be simplified anymore, I'm going to take the negative 2, swing it up in front of the x. So I've got negative 2x minus 1. Here, I'm going to go ahead and divide negative 14 times negative 2. Divided by negative 2. So I'll have x plus 7. Now watch, I'm going to FOIL this back out to check that I get back to my original. So when I FOIL, I multiply my first terms, which are negative 2x and x. Then I multiply my outside terms, which are negative 2x and 7. Then I multiply my inside terms, which is negative 1 and x. And then my last terms, negative 1 and 7. Multiplying each of these, I get negative 2x squared, negative 14x, negative 1x, and negative 7. Combining like terms, negative 14 minus 1 is negative 15, and then we put it all together, negative 2x squared minus 15x minus 7, and it matches my original, so I did it right.